Hi there everyone, and welcome back to my channel, and we're moving on with the defence witnesses in the Casey Anthony trial, and next up is Cindy Anthony. So, I mean, it's always really interesting when any member of the Anthony family get up. I mean, you just hear so much more to this family than you could ever think of, really. So she never asked Dominic and James to go search on Suburban Drive, and she never asked them to videotape it either. On the 20th of December 2008 is the day one of the search warrants were carried out at her home, and she can't remember if she told Yuri that she had had some of her people search the area of where the remains were found. She can't remember because she was just upset that they were in her home again. She says she did remember telling Yuri that there was a blanket missing. So they go back to the first search that was done on the 11th of December. A copy of the warrant nor the inventory of the items of evidence that had been taken was left with the Anthonys, which should be done. It's procedure for a warrant and an inventory of any items of evidence they've taken. It should be left there, but it wasn't. So they didn't know what they were looking for or what they had taken. So by the second warrant, the Anthony's attorney had requested a copy of that warrant and the inventory. And so by that time, they obviously did know by the second visit what they were looking for and what they had taken on the first visit. So Cindy is asked if, while having an argument with Lee, she said that she sent Dominic and James to Suburban Drive. She says she had no knowledge of that search, so she wouldn't have argued about it. So that's the end of that one. We now move on to Lee Anthony. So he's asked if he had an argument with his mum about sending Dominic Casey to search on Suburban Drive, and his reply is yes, he did, and he is very, very certain by the tone of his voice that that did happen. Cindy told him that she sent Dominic to the woods off of Suburban Drive because she got a psychic tip she wanted to follow up on. I mean, you hear one thing from George and Cindy and another thing from Lee, and this family must be in absolute tatters at this point. Whether it wasn't good to start with, I don't know. Possibly, probably. I mean, it all starts back from when Casey got pregnant, so all the antics that Casey got up to in the lead up to Kaylee going missing could have only just piled on more and more and more. So he said this was later on in the year. He doesn't remember exactly. It was prior to October 2008. Lee says he was angry because this was the first he had heard that anyone in his family were looking for a deceased Kaylee, because prior to that he thought no one was thinking that way. So the cross-examination. After that argument, it fueled Lee's decision to go back to work, because he just thought, well, they're not actually trying to find a little girl who's being held somewhere. They're now looking for a deceased Kaylee. So the argument took place before the search by Dominic took place. The redirect, the reason it fueled his decision to go back to work was because he was very angry at his parents because they had made a decision without telling me. I mean, this isn't the only decision that they've made without speaking to him. And he couldn't believe they were even considering that Kaylee could be deceased, and he didn't want anything to do with it. So he decided to go back to work and focus his energy on that. Fair enough. So yeah, I mean, Lee always sounds so angry and pissed off with all of his family, to be honest. It's just sad, really sad. So Yuri Melitch, on the 20th of December 2008, which was the date of the second search warrant at the Anthony's home, he does remember Cindy telling him that she'd had her people walk the area a month earlier and nothing was in the area. Yuri remembers her saying something to that extent. He did actually write it in his report. So Cindy George, come on. I mean, just tell the truth. It's obvious that you've said things. I mean, you can quite easily say you don't remember, but, you know, other people are remembering. It just doesn't look good. So, I'll be back with more in another video. Until then, bye for now.